Hello, and welcome to my presentation. Today we will be surfing through the history and artistic reviews of one of the most iconic Greek artworks surviving from ancient times. These artworks are known as the Elgin Marbles or Parthenon sculptures, a very large collection from ancient Greece. The Parthenon is a former temple in Athens, Greece that was built in 5th century BC and is dedicated to the Greek goddess Athena. They are now located in the British Museum in London, England. According to the Wikipedia.com article titled Parthenon Sculptures, the origins of these date back to 447 to 432 BC ancient Greece. The artist who created and directed building the majority of these beautiful designs was this man, the sculptor, painter, and architect Phidias. He is considered one of the greatest ancient sculptors of all time. The Parthenon was built atop the Greek citadel known as the Acropolis. This was the largest and grandest temple on the mainland of that time. It has served several different purposes, including a treasury, a Christian church, and a mosque. During the Sixth Ottoman-Venetian War, the Parthenon became a structure caught in the crossfires of violence. In 1687, Venetian forces laid siege to the Acropolis. A Venetian bomb landed on the Parthenon, which the Ottomans used as a munitions dump, and this killed over 300 people and severely damaged the Parthenon. 100 and something years later, 113 to be exact, along came Thomas Bruce, the 7th Earl of Elgin. According to Wikipedia.com, he held the role of British ambassador to the Ottoman Empire. He stated that in 1801 he procured a permit from the government under the Ottoman Empire to remove structures from the site. They were sold to the British Parliament in 1816 and were later given to the British Museum. The Acropolis in Athens is listed as a protected UNESCO World Heritage Site on their website. The Greek government has also established a committee to oversee restoration efforts. UNESCO has urged the British government to return the marbles back to Greece to no avail. According to the British Museum, about half of the original sculptures still exist, and that they have about half of those in their possession in London. In 2009, the Acropolis Museum was founded to protect the remaining pieces still located in Athens. There is an original frieze measuring 247 feet, 15 metopes, and 17 pedimental figures. These statues are made out of white Pentelic marble that was mined from the Mount Pentelicus quarry in Attica, Greece. They're mostly muted white, gray, and beige in color, according to LiveScience.com in their article titled Parthenon, Once a Riot of Color. These artworks were once painted in bright colors. Scientists have utilized modern technology, such as infrared lights and other non-invasive techniques, to detect traces of pigment in the stones. The continuous frieze depicts a procession of people, horses, and chariots. It is related to the Panathenaic festival, honoring the goddess Athena. The metopes depict battles between Lapiths and centaurs. In Greek mythology, Lapiths were a legendary tribe of humans who lived in Thessaly, and centaurs are creatures that are part human and part horse. According to the Brown University website from their article, Archaeologies of the Greek Past, this metope is considered one of the most technically skilled and compositionally sound of all. These pediments display scenes of many stories of Greek mythology. Seeing these detailed works from ancient times makes me marvel at the beauty and skill it takes to create something like this. Ancient artists did not have modern technology or tools, so everything they did was by hand by skilled craftsmen. These were not only detailed works of art, but they were symbols of an entire people and represented religious displays. It's amazing to see something that is thousands of years old and still being fought over for ownership. The high level of craftsmanship and quality materials have stood the test of time, and this makes me absolutely awestruck. These elaborate statues have gone through an entire history in their existence and are still admired by people all over the world. I believe the Parthenon marbles represent ancient Greece by depicting their stories, history, and religion. Between the giant frieze, metopes, and pediments, there is much culture and religious symbolism cast into this marble. The way these gods were revered and depicted with such detail shows how seriously the ancient Greeks were when it came to the topic of religion. The colors are white, gray, and beige. The shape varies from piece to piece. Some sculptures have 3D form and others are carved into flat pieces. There's a lot of dimension because these statues are very detailed all the way down to the clothing. You can almost imagine what the fabrics would have felt like because the texture is so deeply detailed. Different lines are also utilized throughout these sculptures. I believe there's a balance of unity and variety through these pieces, which creates a harmonious balance visually. There are many different types of figures depicted, and some are more highlighted than others for emphasis. Many of the images in these marbles show movement, whether it be a battle scene or someone's clothing moving in a certain direction. There are different patterns throughout these sculptures, including hidden painted patterns that have been discovered by researchers using infrared technology. The pediments reach about 5.5 feet tall, and the frieze itself is about 3 feet tall. The bodies of many of these statues are proportionate as far as how a human is built, but they're scaled smaller than an average person is tall. Thank you for coming to my presentation, but I have some questions before we go. I want to know, how many people did it take to create this colossal creation? Will the colors ever be restored to any of these marbles, and why won't England give them back to Greece?